Hi friends, welcome back to Nearly Same Games. I'm Neil, and this is the Armory Report. Now, last night's Armory event was a Tales of Aria sealed pool. And let's take a look at what my pool was and how I built my deck. All right, let's take a look at this pool. Start out with Guardian. We have a few auras here. Not real excited, not a real big fan of the auras, but there they are. I almost thought about Guardian. Two Snow Unders, red is there. We've got the two Glacial Footsteps, Thump, three Thumps. These are lower power Thumps. They're not quite what I wanted. And a yellow Mulch. This just isn't enough. You really want to have very consistent attacks over 7. This is almost there, but you're probably also looking for some extra some extra big earth attacks. We have one Autumn's Touch red, and then you want support, and I just didn't see quite what I wanted out of this. We also had two Emboldens, one foil. I don't like this very much. This is a 4-cost aura. It's difficult to do anything with this on your turn. So to put this down and actually be able to still attack on this turn, I know it gives +5, but just really hard and kind of clunky to work with. Let's take a look at Lexi. Lexi had some okay things going on here. A few reds, but the yellows, I mean, I like Overflex. Overflex is really good. Dazzling Crescendo is not my favorite arrow. A 4 attack is okay, a 2 attack is not. 5 attacks are what you're looking for. And we had a few of them in here because you can dominate your arrows and get these through. Again, not consistent enough that I really wanted to go Lexi. And we have, when we get over to our lightning attacks, I have a very small pool of lightning. I have a bigger pool of ice, but I didn't, and I have a weird mix of cards here. I knew I wasn't going to be consistent with the fusing. This is not great. Snapshot is an okay card, but really not for sealed. Frostlock is pretty good, but again, I didn't think Lexi had quite the power that I needed to go. Also, I was looking at this setup, and first off, one Bramble Spark is a little bit short, but I would have liked more, but that is what it is. That is what it is. I love Sigil of Suffering, especially the red. 3 Inspire Lightnings. I didn't have a whole lot that I wanted to do with my my lightning attacks. I had a couple of lightning surges here, which would be good for the go again. And that mixes pretty nicely with what Briar wants to do. If you can get a go again attack and then add another attack on top of it, you're going to add a lot of pressure. Inspired Lightnings, I figured, and Arcanic Shock, 2 Arcanic Shock Waves. I figure I could probably hold a lightning card in hand and be able to fuse these and make sure I'm getting that extra damage through. And that's kind of what my plan was. There's a lot of arcane damage here. This red one will do 3 arcane damage. Really great. And these yellows are 2 arcane damage. That if you can just blast 2 arcane damage across each turn, you're doing pretty well. And then the red Singeing Steel Blades are fantastic. 4 power on the attack plus the arcane damage. This is an excellent card in sealed because you get that free arcane damage, and then they have to figure out what they want to do with this. A lot of times this is going to be Well, I'll pitch a 3-block card, and then you're leaking over another damage. You're getting another Embodiment of Earth token. These are really great. The 2's not as good, but they still, late game, are still going to take that 1 arcane damage and still have to deal with that 2 and decide if they want that damage to leak over or not. Really good. We only had 1 ball lightning. A little bit upset with that. I do like lightning press a lot. It's very flexible. Flash is very nice because this is a lightning action. This is not an instant. So we can play this, give our next attack go again, play that, and then swing with our sword for 2 extra damage. Really good. And some, kind of blue. These aren't. I'm not real excited about these, but there's something. And our blue was a lot of inaction. These Chill to the Bone is okay, but these Winter Bites, I'm not. They're kind of just a little bit underpowered, I think. Polar Blast would be okay if it was in red and we're going for Oldhim, but that's not what this is. Chill to the Bone is definitely a Lexi card. We're going to want to dominate attack and create those Frostbite tokens, but this was kind of overall unimpressive for what I wanted to do. Then we have a few things in Earth. So Tomorrow, I don't care about those cards. Those are garbage. Earth Lore Surge, I like to have a buff there. And then, I'll take Autumn's Touch. I'll take Amulet of Earth. I take Amulet of Earth because we have a few of these Vela Flash, and these are deceptively good because if you can fuse this, you play this, you fuse it, and you say, okay, I'm going to fuse it with, I don't know, this lightning card. And then I'm going to flash in an Amulet of Earth. But Amulet of Earth says go again. So now I can play that, and now I've played a non-attack action and an attack action, and now I can swing the sword, and this go again, even though this was played as an instant, I get this go again, and that refreshes your action point. So that can be really good and get in that extra damage. So that's kind of roughly what my deck was. Now let's go back and see how that performed. So let's take a look at how my Briar deck went. There were 4 rounds, and the first round was against an Oldhim player. Now, Oldhim's going to come in for big attacks, and I was looking to block what I could and then chip in with arcane damage as much as possible. And that's pretty much how the plan went. There were some big attacks that I needed to have big blocks for, but anytime I could get in little bits of damage, that's what I do. I had some pretty big attacks. Oldhim wants to hold on to all of their cards so that they can swing back this big attack. So any cards you can pull out of their hand can potentially offset that plan. And that worked out pretty well. I didn't take any necessarily really big attacks, but I could usually chip back with some arcane damage with just 2 cards. So there's a lot of times I would block with 2 cards and swing back with 2 cards and make sure I get that arcane damage in. That match went pretty smooth. A lot of arcane damage. He was at 3 health when I finally killed him. I was still at 8. So that worked out pretty well. My round 2 match was against Oldhim again. And this deck was pretty good. There were a lot of big attacks coming my way. You really want to watch how much life that you give up to Oldhim. he's only going to have a certain number of large attacks. And if you can hold off for a certain amount of time, hopefully you can fire through those attacks and come back and hit him. And I was hitting him a good amount, but he just had a lot of really big attacks. And we want to get those attacks over that 6 power attack. You want to have the 7 power, the 8 power, the 9 and 10 power attacks. You want to always have those, and you want to look for getting the dominate whenever you can if you're playing Oldhim. And this deck was doing very well. There was one round when I was down to about 5 life. He swung in for 10, and I kind of laid down my hand and blocked 9 of it. I was able to get him down to 2 life, but I was down to 2 life as well. And he was coming in with, a 7 attack, an 8 attack, and I didn't have good options to hold a card in hand and still block enough to survive. He ended up fatiguing me. My last hand had 2 cards in hand. Neither of them had any block value. I was trying to swing in with my weapon to try to drive something out of his hand. Remember, 2 damage when you're at 2 life is still lethal, so he still had to pull cards out of his hand, but he was still able to come back with those big attacks. And eventually he wore me out. I don't feel too bad about the loss. He eventually went 4-0 in the match in the round last night, so his deck was pretty good. He was playing it well, and there's only so much you can do if you're going to have a constant barrage of these big attacks. Now my third round was against Oldhim again, and this was interesting because there were a lot of big attacks coming in, but again I was able to block out. I was looking for combinations. I was able to get my Thorn Sword to go in a few times and get the extra 2 arcane damage off of that. And again, a lot of little plink damage here and there. I don't think I had any particularly big attacks that got through, but I was really focused on keeping my life total as high as I could. He got me down to 4. I had him down to 1, and I used the Mark of Lightning when he blocked from hand. I think I was swinging a 3 attack at him, pop Mark of Lightning, and plink him off for the last point of damage. Now my round 4 was against Oldhim. All Oldhim all the time last night, and this was interesting because this started out with Oldhim bringing in the big attacks, and these were a lot of attacks that I decided to block as much as I can. And so he was coming in for 10, 11, and I was taking 2, 3 maybe with some of these big attacks. And the important thing this round was that I remembered to create all of my embodiment of Earth tokens. You got to remember that if you plink in with arcane damage on a card, that creates an embodiment of Earth token. If you hit with your attack action, that creates an embodiment of Earth token. And getting all of those and tracking all of those, I find it harder to track those than I do my tunic counters. But if you can remember to get those, that really makes non-attack actions good. It does not boost defensive actions, but your non-attack actions, like my Inspire Lightnings, I had a couple Earth cards that were the boost cards, and if you remember that, you can get some really big blocks. I remember he came in for 10 at one point, and I had 2 Embodiment of Earth tokens, and I was able to block with 2 cards from hand, and that blocked for 8. So I take 2 damage off of that, still have 2 cards to swing back with. The effect is very strong, and you just have to make sure that you're tracking it and be vigilant about tracking it. It can make a big difference. So I was, again, trying to keep my life total as high as possible. He took a big hit and went from 18 down to 11. I was swinging in a decent sized attack, and he decided to take it. And this is, I think, that was probably a big mistake. I don't think that, I think as Oldhim, you're looking at these big attack cards and you're saying, I'm going to do a lot of damage. But unless you're getting that dominate through, you're probably not going to get through as much damage as you want. So I swung in for kind of big, and he said, all right, I'm going to take it. And he said, I'm going to swing back for, 10, and I take 2 of it. This isn't great. And the times that you want to hold and take the damage, you better be sure that you can push through 5 or more damage. If that was a 10 attack with Dominate, that would be worth it, because then you would be swinging in and probably getting 7 damage through. But taking a big hit, don't do it in this format. It's too much plink damage, too much little damage that becomes unblockable, and you need to be very aware of that. I ended that round with, I was at 7 life, he was at 1. I was able to get an Inspire Lightning off fused to finish the job. And that's kind of how it goes. I went 3-1. I was very happy with that record. There was only 1 4-0, and that's the person that beat me in the second round. So, yeah, overall it went very well. And I was very happy with my deck. It was doing everything I wanted it to do. And yeah, so that's this week's Armory report. Next week we're going to be doing, we're going to be back to Classic Constructed, and I'm going to be trying out the Classic Constructed Levia deck and seeing where I can go with the new meta, with chain kind of depowered, and see how that goes. So until next time, this has been the Armory Report.